Hi guys, this is HeyJay Stylexio and welcome to another beautiful tutorial. Today we were learning how to make palazzo trouser with rope and pocket. So if you don't know how to make a trouser with rope at the waist and adding pocket, well, this tutorial is for you. Well, I want to apologize for being absent in a very long time, for not being consistent, dropping video once in a while. Well, we are back fully. We're going to be dropping videos weekly, so stay tuned and enjoy this tutorial. And so today we'll be making our trouser, and these are the measurements we need: the waist, the hip, the thigh, the crotch, the trouser length, and the hip drop. So these measurements we'll be using to make the trouser, and the trouser is going to be a trouser with rope. We're not adding zip fly or elastic. This is going to be with rope. So we drew a line that's our starting point, and then we're taking our measurement from 1.5 inch. Because of our band, we're adding a band to it, so we're taking our measurement from there. So we're starting with our hip drop. We take our hip drop, which is 9 inches. Our hip drop is what we use in determining our hip line. So we just roll it across, and this is our hip line. Then the next measurement we take is our crotch measurement, still from the 1.5 inch away, because the 1.5 inch, we're assuming that's our band. We'll take our crotch is 10 inches, so we'll mark it out. When taking your crotch, you have to sit down to take your crotch. So if you don't know how to take your crotch, you could check the video in the description in the channel on how to take body measurement. You see how to take crotch. You sit on a chair, take your waist to your buttocks on the chair surface. Then next measurement we take is our trouser length measurement, the length of the trouser we want. So our trouser length is 44 inches, but we'll mark 44 inches, and then we'll need 1 inch or 1.5 inch as hemming allowance. So I used 1 inch, which is 45. So we'll be marking out 45 inches as our hemming allowance. So that's me taking the 1 inch for our hemming allowance. So roll it up, and it will be time now to take our horizontal measurement, that is the measurement around our body. So the first measurement we take is our hip measurement. We checked our hip is 45, so we divide it by 4, and then we'll add 1 inch ease allowance. Normally I don't add any inch on the front pattern, but I really wanted it a little bit free because it's going to be a trouser with rope, so I added 1 ease allowance to all of it. But normally if you want a fitted trouser, you don't need to add anything. You can do 1/2 inch or 1/4 inch allowance as your ease for the front pattern, then you add all your sewing allowance and everything to your back pattern. So the same hip measurement, I took it on the waistline. The same measurements plus the ease, I took it on the waistline. Then for the crotch depth, I'm taking the thigh measurement, and the thigh is 29, so divided by 2 is 14.5 plus the 1 inch ease allowance. So, and that is just the end of the fabric, so I'll just mark it out. So I'm going to use my ruler now to connect these points together. So I'll draw a straight line from the waist to the hip, and then use my curve to connect my hip to my crotch, together crotch curve. So that's basically it. Then the next thing I'm supposed to do is to take the roundness of my hem of my trouser, but in this case, like I said, it's a palazzo trouser, so I may not need that roundness, but I don't really want it to be so big. I wanted a little fitness, so I'm going to take my hip measurement divided by 2. That is the hip line there. Now that line there is hip divided by 4 plus ease, so I'm just going to take the midpoint of the line so that I can use it. It's just going to serve as a guide to divide the line on the fabric. So I did the same thing down on the hem. I took the midpoint, and then I'm connecting it with a ruler from the hip line to the hem of the trouser. I'm connecting with a ruler. Now I've drawn the line, and the next thing I'm going to do now is to add our knee length measurement, and the knee length we're using is 22. Then the round knee is 18.5. Though it's not a fitted trouser, you use this measurement when you want a fitted trouser, but I just want to use it as a guide because it's a palazzo but not so wide. For your palazzo, you don't need round knee. Like I said, you don't need your ankle measurement, you just go down straight. But I don't want it, the fabric is a little bit thick, so I don't really want that. If it's too full, it might be too heavy to wear. So that's why I still want to make it a little bit fittable, a palazzo trouser that has a little fitting. So of taking the line, the hip line, and then the round knee measurement is 18. 18 divided by 2 is what we're going to place. So whatever we get as the round knee measurement, normally we just use it like that for our fitted trouser. But for our palazzo trouser, for this free trouser, let me not call it palazzo, let me call it free trouser, my round knee measurement, I'm going to be adding 1.5 inch to it, just to give it freeness, more freeness. I'm going to add 1.5 inch to it on both sides. This is not a standard. This is just me being creative, just trying out things. Basically, this is even the first time trying out something like this, so we're going to see together the outcome, and I think it's going to come out very well. So I'm just adding 1.5 inch to the rounding measurement on both sides to give it that freeness, and I'm going to use this same measurement. Whatever I get the total measure, I'm still going to use it on the hem of my trouser, so you see that it's going to be going down straight. It's not a fitted trouser, so the round knee measurement, we not actually use it, we only use it as a guide to place our measurement. So did the same measurement down, and I'm going to connect all these lines together to get our trouser. So I just connect from the crotch, like our thigh, to the knee, and then from the knee to the hem of the trouser. I'll do it on both sides. So when I'm done with drawing the straight line, I'm going to remark the line between the thigh and the round knee is a straight line, but the thigh and the round knee is not really straight. It has a little bit curve, so I'm just going to curve it inward. You can use your French curve, if you have the hip curve, you can use it, but if you don't, you can just use your free hand to just do it. So we're just going to curve it inward a little. We just need this curved line, not a straight line. The body is not so straight, so this is what we're going to actually cut out now, and we'll be using this now to cut our back pattern. But before then, normally our waist, before we're supposed to take our waist measurement. For me now, my waistline divided by 4 is 8.5. I'm not using 8.5 because I wanted rope, so we need that freeness at the waist where the rope can give it effect. So I'm just going to take from this my hip measurement, I'm going to take 1.5 on the side of the waistline to connect to the hip. We took our hip measurement on the waistline, so I'm just going to take out 1.5 from the end, from the folded end, and just to give the waist a little bit shape so that it's not be too big, just give it a little bit shape. Even though we're adding rope, this process, you can also use it for your band. If you're adding band to your if you're adding elastic to your trouser, you can use it, because elastic and rope, they do the same job. They gather the waist just for freeness. So I'm going to come down at the center front of my trouser. I'm going to come down by ½ inch just to do a little slope, because our front waistline is not so straight. It has this curved shape, so we're just going to do it. We'll do it on our skirts, on every outfit we have that we're making that is coming from the down part, which is the skirt or trouser. So you always do this. So we're just going to cut it through. we're done cutting. We'll be using our back pattern now to create our front pattern. By the way, the sides, we're not done cutting the sides, so we'll just cut the side open because we actually use the old folded part, so we'll just cut it open on the side. So this is basically our front pattern. This is very easy. So making trousers is one of the easiest. I love making trousers. I have lots of trousers I've made. I love making trousers, and I like trying out new things with trousers. It just comes out cool. So we're using this now to cut our back pattern. So we'll place it on the folded fabric. We'll be cutting our back pattern. So our front pattern is already placed on it. So from the center front, we're just marking 2-inch allowance. One inch is serving as ease, and then the other 1 inch is serving as sewing allowance. Then for the crotch or for the tie, normally for someone with a bigger boot or for a plus size person, you go as much as 2.5 or 3 inches. Then for a slim person or an average person, you can do 1.5. Or then for a very small person, 1 inch is okay. But generally 1.5 should not be less than 1.5, no matter the size of the person. I like being on the safe side. So connect it back, and then we start taking our 2-inch round all over. So the only part we took more than 2 inches was on the tie line. We did 2.5 before, because we're making this trouser for a plus. I'm not a plus size, but I'm a plus size. So we're making the trouser for someone that the hip is above 40. So I'll call that a plus size kind of. I'm not a plus size, please. Anyways, plus size are beautiful. I'm beautiful. So we'll be making this for plus size. So we did 2.5 inch on the tie, and from there we're connecting every other part 2 inches. So the 2 inches is serving as the sewing and ease allowance. So that's what we said, for trouser making you add all the allowances to the back pattern, not the front pattern. And then we'll connect the hem back. We're not adding anything to the hem, so the back and front hem is the same. So connect it back. Then at the top of our trouser, we're going to be going up on that extension line. We're going to be going up by 2 inches. So for someone who has buttocks or is fuller down, you do 2 inches. For someone who is not so full down or that is less than 35 inches, you can do 1.5 inch. So you just go up. That's what we call it, the crotch rise. So you just take it up from the crotch line, from your waistline, go up by 1.5 or 2 inches depending on the size of the person, and then connect it straight to the waistline back at the side of the trouser, and then you just cut out everything following the shape. So this is basically how to make the front and back pattern. So I'm going to be showing you how to make the bands, and then how to make the rope that we're going to be inserting. Everything we're going to show you, the whole process is going to be a smooth ride. I cannot wait to see what the trouser is going to look like, and I'm going to rock it to the shirt that I'm also going to make, and I'm going to be dropping on the channel soon. So that's it. So just cut it out, and I'll tell you what to do next. So I'm cutting the extra size on the back panel, so that it will align with the front part, the front trouser on the front panel. So this is basically it. So I'll take it to my sewing machine now. Before I won't cut the band, I'll take it to my sewing machine and sew it down to the crotch by 1/2 inch on the back pattern. I'll do the same thing for the front pattern. Put the two front pieces together and sew it by 1/2 inch as well. So this is the side. We've sewn it with 1/2 inch at the back and the front too, and then we'll cut out the excess. You can as well leave it if you're not too sure So the next thing to do is mark the pocket. You want to fix the pocket. So normally it's 2.5 inch you take. If you are using your waist measurement, your exact waist measurement, you take 2.5 inch. Like for me, my exact waist measurement is supposed to be 8.5, but because we just removed only 1.5 from the actual hip measurement on the waist part, so this is not the exact waist measurement. So instead of 2.5, we'll be doing 3.5 for our pocket. But I said standard is 2.5 by 7 inches. So we still use our 7 inches, but we're only doing 3.5 on the side. Because if we do 2.5, because of the fact that it's big, by the time it gathers, you won't even see the pocket. It's going to be far by the side. So that's why we did it 3.5, so that I can go in. So you just use your French curve to connect the 3.5 mark to the 7 inches mark, and then you cut it off. So make sure the front is folded like so very well, and then you cut it off. So after cutting it off, this is what it looks like. You can see the pockets on the side already. So now is to cut the pocket itself that will be attaching to the trouser. And don't forget that this thing we did now is just on the front part of the trouser, not the back, only the front. So for the pocket, we are doing the wideness of 8 inches and then the length of 15 inches. So before then, I would like to rule a line that will serve as our starting point for measurement, so that we'll have an accurate measurement. So taking 15 inches length, you can use less than 15. You can do 14, 13 is okay, but almost too short, and more than 15 might be too long. So this is fine, 8 by 15 or 7.5 by 15, but 7 by 15 is too small. So this is it. So I'll just cut this shape out. I'm supposed to cut 2 of these. Don't forget your fabric is on fold. You're supposed to cut 2 of these, one for the left pocket and one for the right pocket, but I'm just doing one part. And this, whatever I'm doing now, you're going to follow the same process to do the second pocket. So just cut it out. So now that we've cut it out, we're going to place it on our trouser. You can see the trouser, the two right side, the two wrong side are facing each other. The two wrong side facing each other. Take note. Now, with the two wrong side facing each other, place the trouser on the pocket. Let the waist align with the up of the trouser and the sides align with the sides. The waist align with the waist of the pocket, and the sides align with the sides of the pocket. While for the pocket, let two right sides face each other. So with this now, you'll be cutting correctly. Take note, two right sides are facing each other before cutting. You're cutting only the top parts. The bottom part is still there. Sure you get. So you're cutting only the top part. So this top part you're cutting, you're going to place it now right side facing each other on your trouser and sew it by 1/2 inch. And then you do the same thing for the second side when you cut. So now we've sewn the pockets on both sides with 1/2 inch. So we're going to be notching all of it on the side. So be careful when you're notching so you don't cut into your seam line. So after notching, place your pocket like so, sideways, and you put the two sides of the pocket together and the side of the trouser. So you have 3 pieces lying together. Then on the top there, the waist and the pocket. So we're going to sew there with very little inch stitch just to hold it in place. But before then, we'll be sewing down of the pocket, but we don't want the stitch to be outside, so we're going to turn it and sew it from inside. So just turn it like so and then sew from inside to the pocket by half inch or quarter inch, or if you have a zigzag machine, you can use zigzag stitch to sew it. So we'll do it for both sides. So now we've done it. So the next thing to do is I just did a stitch on that part to keep the pocket in place. If you check your ready-made trouser, you will see something like that. So the pockets are in place. You can, from here now, you can iron, you can do your ironing, but I'll still continue with our sewing. So the back piece, we're going to lie it with the front piece, and then we'll be sewing it sideways by a quarter of an by half inch, sorry, or 1 inch, depending on how much you left as your sewing allowance. But we left 1 inch as sewing allowance on the back, and we already have ease allowance, so I'll be sewing with 1 inch on both sides of the trouser, and then on the inner leg of the trouser as well, I'll be sewing it with half inch or 1 inch, because my fabric is very stretchy, so I'm supposed to sew it half inch, but I might do 1 inch. My fabric is stretchy, it's thick but stretchy, so I'll sew the inner leg and I'll sew the outer side. When I'm done, you see it. So now I'm done sewing. See, this is what it looks like. It's already coming out beautiful, and you can see the fabric is glittering. I'm sure it's going to really turn out very, very fine. I just hope our mannequin can show us the beauty when we are finally done. So this is basically it. This is the pocket and everything. So what's next is to add our band. We need to add the band to the trouser. So cutting the band, we said we wanted a band of 1.5. When we took our measurement, we said we wanted a band of 1.5, but before then we need to know the roundness of our band. Normally you just take your waist measurement as your band, but because we didn't use our exact waist measurement, so after sewing we need to know what is on the waist of the trouser round, and that's what we're going to cut as the wideness of the band, the width of the band. So after doing this, now I got 45, which is almost my hip measurement, though we reduce from the hip measurement when we're doing our drafting, but this is just to show you that the fabric stretches so much, so it has stretched more. So I have 45, so I'm going to be cutting a band with length 45. So though my fabric is not long, so I'll be cutting length of 42 first, because the band is very, very stretchy. But my fabric is not long, even with the 42 or 45 is not long enough. So what I'll do is I'm going to cut pieces and join together. Then for my rope, I'm going to be doing ×2. I'm going to be multiplying the length of my waist. My normal waist is 34, or let me just say the hip is 45, so I'm just going to add 12 inches. So when I counted, it's almost 60. So my rope, I'm going to cut a long rope of 60 inches. That's what I'm going to use as the rope for the trouser. So just say the waist measurement or your hip measurement plus 12 inches is okay for your rope. So for the band, we said we wanted a band of 45, but my fabric now is not up to 45, so I'm going to be joining two fabric together. Then for the width of the band, we said 1.5 for band, but don't forget we need half inch to join the trouser. So we're going to cut 2 inches. So already unfold on 2 inches. I'm going to cut it round as for the band. So I'm just marking it out, and that's what I'm going to follow in cutting my band. So this band now is 26.6, so I need extra to complete it to make it 45. So just count how many we need more. You can use your calculator. I don't have a calculator here, so the tape is actually my calculator. So I'm going to place it on another fabric to get the same width, but the length now is going to be the remaining fabric that will make it complete to 45. So I've cut it out. I'm just going to join on one side. I'm going to join both of them on this side, and then join it on the other side, because what we want is the round waist measurement of 45 that we calculated. So we're going to join it on the side. Now I've joined it on the sides with half inch, and this is how the band is going to look. This is the band now. When you're done, you're going to fold it like this and attach it to your trouser. So this is it. So give it a good press so that it can stay in place, and then we'll pin it to our trouser. So now we just place it, the two joining, I just choose to put it at the back. So when someone sees it, might just feel, oh, it's a design. They won't even know that our fabric wasn't enough. So that's why we added, we joined pieces together. So we just pin it round, and you have to be sure of it that it can go around before you take your rope mark, because we're going to be putting rope. So we're taking a mark from the middle line, from the crotch line at the center front. We drew it, so we drew the crotch line to the band, and then from that line we're marking 1 inch on both sides of the line. So our rope is going to be coming out from that 1 inch mark that is from the center front. So on that 1 inch mark, from the waist of the band, we also mark 1 inch downward. So it's going to give us the exact point where we're going to be taking our rope, we are going to be fixing our rope. So now that we've gotten this point, we'll remove the pins from the band and then take it back to our machine, do a zigzag stitch, and then just create this opening where our rope will be passing through. This machine actually has buttonhole stitch. You can sew buttonhole, so we're going to be using this machine. And just in case you want something like this, well, I can get one across to you. Okay, HeyJay Stylexio Academy runs affiliates with a sewing machine company, so I can get access to it for you. They are German used machines anyway. They have different stitches, so you can just hit me up on the comment section if you're interested. We have different types, both electric and manual. So I'm just using the buttonhole stitch part to create the place where we're going to be putting our hole. So when I'm done, you'll see what it looks like. So that's it. You can see it. This is what we created. So I'm going to be cutting it open. We'll just give it a little notch and nice open. So I'm going to do on the second part of the mark we made, because the rope is going to come out from 2 places on your trouser, so that you can easily tie it, and then it gives you a waist briefing. So this is actually it. We are done with it, so it's neatly finished now. So now we attach our band to our trouser, and then we'll just pin it back around. So don't forget that place where we created the opening we created for our rope is going to be at the center front. So make sure you place that part at the center front when you're pinning around, and you just pin around it. So I'm done pinning. I'm going to sew it around with 1/2 inch. But there's another thing you can do. You can choose to make a perfect inseam finish on the waistline by sewing it inwards first and then doing a top stitch. So I think that's what I want to do. I just wanted to make it really look like a ready-made trouser. So basically that's what I'm going to be doing here. I'm going to take off all the pins, then sew it. Just watch what I'm doing now. I'm picking the down of the band. That's the band. You know, it's folded into 2. So the down part, not the front part, now the down part, I'm going to pick it with the main fabric and sew. So just watch. You can see what I did now. So that's it. I've picked it. I'm going to be pinning it now round, and I'm going to be sewing it with 1/2 inch. So I'm going to pin it round through the fabric and sew it with 1/2 inch. I'm done pinning now. I took it to my sewing machine and sew it with 1/2 inch. And then when I'm done, I'm going to top stitch, fold it back, fold the up part back, and top stitch. Don't forget to subscribe if you've not clicked on the subscribe button. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Well, this is the outcome of the trouser. Isn't it beautiful? That's the pocket, and these are rope. So thank you guys for watching, and I say please also share the video if with your friends. Share the tutorial with your friends. Have a lovely day. Thank you guys for staying true with me. I'll be dropping more content. And then sorry for the break in transmission. I'm back fully. HeyJay Stylexio loves you.